AS 1005 Independence. In all matters relating to the assignment, an independence is mental attitude that is to be maintained by the auditor or auditors. In course of audit, auditor has to maintain independence. That means he has to be independent from the entity which he audits. The statement in the preceding paragraph requires that auditor be independent. Aside from being in public practice, as distinct from being in private practice, he must be without bias with respect to client, since otherwise he would lack the impartiality necessary for dependability of his findings. So auditor has to be independent means he has to give opinion on the financial statement without any bias. He has to be without any impartiality. However, his excellent, his technical proficiency may be, however, he can be very technically proficient, but impartiality, being without bias, is more important, so that the stakeholders, users of the financial statement, will have the confidence in his opinion. However, independence does not imply the attitude of a prosecutor, but rather a judgmental impartiality that recognizes an obligation for fairness, not only to management and owners of business, but also to creditors and those who may rely. So why independence is required? Those who may rely on the financial statements, like creditors, not only the management, owners, those who may rely on the financial statements, the confidence in them must be increased on the opinion of the opinion that given by the auditor. That is the reason auditor has to be independent. It is of utmost importance to the profession that general public maintain confidence in the independence of independent auditors. Public confidence would be impaired by the evidence that independence was actually lacking. When there is no evidence, obviously public confidence will be gone, and it might also be impaired by the existence of circumstances which reasonable people might believe like to influence independence. If there are reasons that may reasonably influence the independence of the auditor, then also the confidence in the public in the uses of the financial statement will be gone. To be independent, the auditor must be intellectually honest. To be recognized as independent, he must be free from any obligation to. To be independent, the auditor must be intellectually honest. To be recognized as independent, he must be free from any obligation to or interest in the client, its management, or owners. So auditor has to be in order to maintain the independence, auditor has to be honest. He must be free from any obligation to the client, its management, owners. He must not have any interest in the client, its management, its owners. For example, an independent auditor auditing a company of which he was also a director might be intellectually honest, but it is likely that public would accept him as independent, since he would be in effect auditing decisions which he had part in making. Means, forget this. If the auditor has an interest, he is an employer or something, he has an interest in an entity and he is auditing it, he can't maintain the partiality. He can't be impartial. He may partiality may affect his opinion, since he have interest. That's why he should not have any interest. Likewise, an auditor with a substantial financial interest in the company might be unbiased in expressing his opinion on the financial statement of the company, but the public would be reluctant to believe that he was unbiased. Sometimes, even if he have interest, if the auditor is honest, he may give an unbiased opinion, but the public has reason to believe that he may be partial, since he have interest. That is the reason auditor should not have any interest. Independent auditors should not only be independent in fact, but they should avoid situations that may lead outsiders to doubt their independence. They should avoid the situations that lead outsiders to doubt their independence. That is the reason auditors should not have interest. Any financial interest must not be there, and they should be independent from the entity that audits. The profession is established through the AICPA's Code of Professional Conduct perspects to guard against the presumption of the loss of independence. Presumption is stressed because profession of intrinsic independence is a matter of personal quality rather than rules or formulated set and objective tests. So independence is presumed. Independence of auditor in an audit is presumed. Securities and Exchange Commission has also adopted requirements for independence of auditors who report on financial statements filed with it. Even SEC has laid down some requirements that auditor has to be independent. Independent auditor should administer his practice within the spirit of these perspectives. So he has to follow the rules, guidelines made by SEC also, if he has to achieve proper degree of independence in conduct of his work. To emphasize independence from management, many corporations follow the practice of having the independent auditor appointed by board of directors or elected by stakeholders. To emphasize independence from management. In order to ensure independence, simply corporations follow the practice of appointing the independent auditor by board of directors, or they may choose to elect the independent auditor by stakeholders. Even though an auditor may be an auditor may be honest, intellectually honest, and he may give an unbiased opinion when he has interest, but since he has interest, what public will think? Public will only think that since he has interest, he may give a partial opinion. Even such situations must also be avoided by an auditor to maintain his independence and increase the confidence on the opinion given by him on the financial statements.